OK, let's talk about Joe Hockey's performance now then at the National Press Club. He got a bit of a bagging in the media for it, but let's have a listen to part of that.
You've repeatedly said in recent weeks that you could get the budget back to surplus earlier. I want to go to accusations against you of double counting.
Well, Andrew, when the other mob give you questions, you should challenge them on the status of it. I mean, can I say to you, our numbers stack up, our $52 billion stacks up from last year, right? Our numbers stack up, and that you could have asked that question at any time over the last 12 months if you thought there was double counting. There was no double counting. Our numbers are accurate, and we stand by those numbers at a point of time.
Were you saying in your answer that there is no double counting?
I would say to you, we stand by our numbers, Peter. As simple as that.
There's no double counting?
Well, no, there's no. From our perspective, we stand by our numbers. We stand by our numbers and we stand by our record. Because it is the Liberals that deliver surpluses. It's the Liberals that deliver.
Did you have the figures audited?
I've said that before. You're asking for the technical definition of audit. That's the game. I know, Peter, what the game is. I'm not going to go down that path. We stand by our numbers.
So, Mark, that was an unusually sort of passionate exchange, wasn't it?
Passionate, yes. Passionate, but pretty content-free, most of it. From what I could gather, I wasn't actually at that press club lunch, but there was a fair bit of hostility in the room, it seems, because, once again, the opposition has fronted up to the post-budget address of the National Press Club and not come up with anything in the way of detail. Now, you know, there can be plenty of arguments about what's wise politics here, but if you are talking about the numbers, then you need to be able to defend them, and he didn't really do much of a job. Yeah.
Look, I thought it was interesting that his speech didn't do the same rhetorical thing that Tony Abbott has been doing on carbon tax. He obviously actively chose not to do that. Now, Joe Hockey reckons that speech was meant to be about the budget and, you know, he's complaining that people aren't focusing on the fact that he was talking about the budget. It was a chronically dull speech, so it didn't cut through on the budget. It didn't have any numbers in it, and he ended up in a barney over double counting in a bit of an unconvincing way, I have to say. Maybe
that's the job that Malcolm Turnbull will set his sights on.
I think that is if he can't be leader, I think he'd rather be shadow treasurer. So I think that's all mixed up in what's happening at the moment, or at least that's what a lot of people in the Liberal Party think is going on. I mean, obviously, look, Malcolm is a hugely talented person and very intelligent, and he can be a good salesman, and I think he's chafing in the job that he's in. So if he can't be leader, I think he'd rather be treasurer or shadow treasurer.
He's actually the best advocate in the Parliament. If it comes to advocating a particular policy, he's the best salesman there.
Except he hasn't sunk the NBN. Is that because his heart's not in it?
Well, I don't know. I think he's put up some fairly solid arguments on the specifics of it. It's a big idea, the NBN, and a lot of people are. I think it's inherently popular, and that's possibly why.
And the other problem he's got is that by the time they get into government, it's going to be in place, or it's certainly going to be in place in a number of sites.
Armidale.
So that makes it, well, you know, Tasmania and Armidale, sure, but it's harder to unscramble, isn't it, if it's already underway? And I think Malcolm knows that.